let's do this one first. The Ted Lindsay. This one's voted on by the players, and the players have voted for Leon Draisaitl. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
This
know.
is given to
Yeah.
annually. I'm just gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
quickly given annually to the most outstanding player in the NHL. That sounds like what Leon Draisaitl did this year. He was
Yeah,
outstanding.
amazing. I think, sometimes, this well deserved. I know that he's always had a lot of praise already the last few seasons, but he's the kind of player where, when you take McDavid out of the equation, it just shows like so much more like, like I'm not an Oilers fan, but like if I were to
You
be an
sound like
Oilers fan in
one.
the situation, like how gratifying it is that, you got a lottery pick right that wasn't first overall.
They couldn't even get a first overall pick right. That
Yeah.
picked Nail Yakupov, okay?
But other than that, like these
Rent
guys
free
were
in my
just
head.
in a way too, like when Draisaitl was picked, I remember a lot of people were saying, "Oh, that was a bad pick." Why didn't they get like Sam Bennett or Michael Del Cole?
Boo hoo. You got Leon Draisaitl, okay?
Yeah, I remember like
Deal with
a
it.
lot of people were like justifying Sam Reinhart should have been over Leon Draisaitl, or
Leave him
even Aaron
alone.
Ekblad if you're gonna
Jeez.
look back at that now.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the NHL players picked that one. I do think based on the description, it does sound like he deserved that award. Let's move. This is probably the most, for me, is the most controversial. I think there was a lot of controversy coming on Twitter yesterday. One guy in particular got absolutely blasted for not having the winner on his ballot. And I think that's a load of baloney that he was blasted. I mean, he can do whatever the hell he wants. He has a vote. I don't. Dom Lucian, obviously, he's analytically inclined. I think that's the best way. Like, he came to talk to our class
Mm-hmm.
in first year. I'd make the argument he is extremely analytically inclined, and there's nothing wrong with that. He did not have Dom Lucian. He did not have Leon Draisaitl in his top 5, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the definition of the Hart Trophy is?
Um, is it like the most valuable player to their team?
It says here the Hart Trophy as the most valuable player in the NHL.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Connor McDavid finished 5th. Now, so let's do the top 5. McDavid finished 5th, Pasternak 4th, Artemi 3rd, McKinnon came in 2nd, Leon Draisaitl was 1st. We all agreed, I think we all agreed that Nathan McKinnon came in 2nd.
I thought Nathan McKinnon was gonna win it.
We thought he'd come in 1st. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with me.
We're pretty loopy from our classes, if anyone could notice that.
How? Okay.
I'm looking at Dom's stuff right now, and yeah, if Mike was on the show today, he'd be really happy looking at the
Why?
rankings.
Did he have Artemi winning?
Artemi Panarin was number 1 for the Hart Trophy.
So I'm fine with Artemi and Nathan McKinnon as my top 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were literally, Artemi was literally the Rangers for most of the year, right? Nathan McKinnon was like 40 points ahead of the next closest guy because so many guys got injured. I don't know how I make the argument for David Pastrnak, simply because the way I look at it, each player is equally important to that line. I think they're all great players. Don't get me wrong. They're all top tier players, no question. How do you have Connor McDavid 5th? And I told Adam I'd be devil's advocate. It's really, like, I thought about it last night. I saw all the garbage on Twitter, and I can't be a devil's advocate right now, so I'm just going to go off.
I think it just, when people kind of factored in, I think it was like, the injuries. Just they kind of looked
He
at.
was injured for Connor McDavid was injured for how many games?
Yeah.
That's
Um,
not excuse. He's not even the most valuable player to his own team, let alone the league. I don't care that he scored 110 points. There's a trophy for that. If you want to award the trophy to the guy with the most points, let's get rid of the Hart and just keep the Art Ross.
okay, I'm gonna be a bit of a devil's
Okay,
advocate with this
thank
one.
you. I appreciate that.
What about when Malkin won over Crosby?
Okay, was Crosby if
Okay, let me
Crosby
check.
was injured for long
Yeah.
periods of time, then I think you can make the argument that Evgeny Malkin was the MVP of that team. If that's the case to be made. I don't remember what year this was.
This was okay. Let me check.
This year, Connor McDavid was injured for a very small amount of games.
How many were they?
I'll search it up. Hockey reference.
Oh yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, Crosby. I think that was the second year of the
Was it a concussion? Was that the
concussion. That's when he
year?
had 20. He only had 37 points in 22 games.
Let me do the math here. He missed 7 games.
Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
And was behind by 13 points. I'm sorry, he's not the MVP of his own team, let alone the league. I'm sorry, you're bashing Dom Lucian for not even having him in the top 5. He's not even the MVP of his own team. What a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah, I know everyone was kind of saying like McDavid's gonna have a fire going into next season, but
He most definitely will.
yeah, I don't like. It's hard to kind of gauge because like Draisaitl really did have an excellent run, and he's not a one-dimensional guy, but yeah, it's kind of tough because like every time we kind of talked about where like these injuries happen and you see that one guy, that one other star kind of go off.
But wait, Daniel,
Hard
wait.
to know, yeah.
Wait. What you described to me sounds like the Ted Lindsay Award.
Mm-hmm.
The award given annually to the most outstanding player in the NHL. What you described of Leon Draisaitl sounds like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Hart Trophy is for the most valuable player in the NHL. Leon Draisaitl is not the most valuable player of his own team. It's Connor McDavid. It's not even a question. It's not even a question.
Mm-hmm. Like, so if you were to say, okay, McDavid, like hypothetically, if we're going to use NHL 20, what, he's like a 96, 97?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so what would you
96.
put Draisaitl at?
I don't know. What
I know
do
these are
you
very
mean?
objective.
What do you mean? What
I
do you
was
mean?
I'm just kind of thinking like, so if McDavid's like a level like here, where's Draisaitl go?
He's lower than him.
I'm
He's
just
lower
realizing
than him.
if you don't watch the YouTube, you're not gonna see my the YouTube video. You're not gonna see my hand. So if Connor McDavid's
If
at
he's
like a 10,
up here, yeah.
yeah. So what is
If Connor
Draisaitl?
McDavid's 96 overall, Leon's like 92.
92. Okay.
Like listen, he's not a bad like we're arguing who's the best guy, like who's the MVP of the league. Just because I don't put him number 1 doesn't mean he's garbage. This isn't Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
If you ain't first, you're last. That's not what this is. It's not what it is. All I'm saying is he's not the MVP of his team. When you think of the Edmonton Oilers and I say, who's the MVP of the Edmonton Oilers? Imagine they played 82 games. Connor McDavid, number 1. Leon Draisaitl, number 2. Now, yes, he missed 6 games. Okay? I understand that. But 6 games. It's not like the Malkin year. How many games did Crosby miss that year?
He missed 60 games.
60.
Yeah.
So it sounds very fair to give Evgeny Malkin the MVP because he seemed like the MVP of his team.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are we gonna say the same thing about Corey Perry in 2011?
Sure. Yeah. Who was
Yeah,
injured? Getzlav? Getzlav was
Getzlaff,
injured, right?
but they still had Solani and Bobby Ryan when he still put up 70 points.
But was he better than those guys?
Corey Perry.
Yes.
Um, yeah, at the rate he was at, and the fact that he didn't have
Okay.
Getzlaff playing, being his playmaker, I guess. Yeah, he had
Did
98 points.
Getzlav miss the entire season? I don't remember
He
this year.
missed.
I must have been young.
He missed a significant chunk. It was like right after, right after the trade deadline. That's when he kind of got injured. I can check here now. He suffered multiple nasal sinus fractures
Oh.
after being struck in the face with a puck,
Oh,
but he still appeared in
Sorry.
67 games. That
Okay,
year,
but that's still
and
a significant chunk of games.
yeah, he played. He had 76 points in 67 games.
Who? Getzlav or Perry?
Getzlaff. Perry played the entire season and he had 98 points
And
and
he was
50
that much
goals.
better than Perry. He was that much better than Getzlav. Because at the end of the day, Connor McDavid is better than Leon Draisaitl.
Mhm.
So was he that much better in the 6 games that that McDavid missed?
I
Like
don't
he's
think
running
so, but
he's
yeah.
running his own line. And I understand he's running his own line now, so I'm not going to say, he's just playing on McDavid's wing. That's not true. But McDavid is the MVP of that team. At the end of the day, whether you like it or not, Connor McDavid is the MVP of that team.
Mhm. I don't know. Just okay. This is the way I view things. Where it is like a league choice in a way that I don't know, like what I've kind of seen recently is that you don't always see the same type of people, same type of players. Sorry, win the awards consistently. Like we're not having a Nicholas Lidstrom situation anymore, where there's these 4 like he wins like what 3 or 4 in a row Norris trophies.
Yeah.
I think for just the sake of it, the way the people have been voting, to be honest, this is my opinion, is just what's been like considered the most attractive choice, where it's like Leon Draisaitl, like narrative if he carried his team
For 6 games.
for
Then
6
Connor
games.
McDavid came. They're saying he carried his team for 6 games. Connor McDavid carried. Fine, he didn't carry the team like he used to, but
Mhm.
he was still that team for the rest of the season. So
Yeah,
I don't care if it's a hot take or garbage take. It's my take. Connor McDavid's the MVP of that team.
pretty funny. I didn't really expect to talk too much about this one because I like last week I was like for sure like yeah Nathan McKinnon's gonna win it.
It should have been Nathan McKinnon.
I think so. Yeah.
It should have been Nathan McKinnon because he was that much better than everyone else on his team because of obviously because of injuries
Mhm.
and multiple players missing significant time on multiple occasions.
Mhm.
I'm sorry I went off. I'll let you.
Oh,
have
no
the
problem.
Floor. I'll let
Yeah,
you have the floor for a little bit.
That's okay. For me, I'm a big fan of Leon. I'm not an Oilers. Like, I actually don't like the Oilers, but I'm a big Leon fan, and the fact that he could kind of win it, it was nice to see. But like, I know what you're getting at, where he wasn't the best player on his team, and yeah, I don't know where else to go. To be honest with this one, like it is hard. Like I know the points
Yeah.
were there, but maybe it's something we don't know. Like because maybe I'm optimistic too. Like this is not the same Oilers team where, well, like in a way they are, where they
No,
don't
they are.
have the same amount of depth, but it's not as bad as it used to be.
No, you're right. Before we move on, it actually just came back in my mind. I didn't write this down, and I woke up this morning. I said, today I'm not in a good mood with Edmonton Oilers fans. I just think they're being. I think honestly, I think they're being pricks, and
Really?
I don't feel bad saying that because
Why?
because it's rent free this, rent free that. Like, shut up. Just enjoy that your guy won. They're making about the Leafs. They're making about Matthews this, Matthews that. I didn't say anything about Austin Matthews and the Hart.
It's expected, you know what I mean?
Like no wonder, like you, and then they're like, oh man, they're living rent free in your head. Okay, if I bombard you with like literal nonsense that I have not brought up, you tell me what your response is gonna be. Are you gonna be? You can be so funny with your Austin Matthews jokes here and there. No one said anything. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
You know, every time it's like that. It's like the comparables where, you know, it's Western Canada and I guess we're in Central Canada, Central Canada, the kind of thing where, you know, you're gonna compare like the big names. You're gonna always do like that. And I don't know, like Austin's great player. It's just
they're babies. They're babies.
Yeah, people just like to pick it apart. Don't worry.
No,
like
it's just
sooner
annoying.
or later, people are gonna tell me too. Or like, if I hear it a lot, people are gonna tell me, Daniel, Corey Perry's out of his prime. Like, you know, I'm gonna start believing it if people start telling me that.
Hey, Daniel, he's out of his prime, man.
Yeah, like I'm gonna think about it, but
you know
I know it's not true.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on. But just leave it alone. Like, clearly we're living rent free in your heads too. So shut up.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, like if I tell you, don't think about pancakes. What do you think about?
Chocolate chip pancakes.
Yeah.
Just a variation. Okay. Do you have anything else to talk about for the awards?
I guess in terms of the Hart, that's gonna be a controversial one. I think Leon, if he was in the other team, you know, maybe, but I don't know. It's hard to know because like I came into this episode thinking I had comparables to it, but I really didn't. Like Malkin, Crosby, Getzlaf, Perry, I don't have any.
Injuries. Listen, if Leon was the MVP of his own team, numero uno. Okay? Like that's my take. If he was the MVP of his own team.